the sunshine strap.
Yes, to the sunshine.
SSS. SSS. Can I borrow this dress?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. We'll do a dress swap.
Yes.
Not wife swap. Dress swap.
Don't even.
Now, once you're ready to get a divorce, I'm single.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of New York, Season 14, Episode 9. And before we get into it, this was a cute episode, but one thing that I noticed on this franchise, it seems like every conversation is a trauma dump, and I'm getting a bit tired. I feel like, can we ever have some fun and light conversation? Why does every conversation have to go back to, let's discuss our childhood trauma or our upbringing and how hard it was? Can't we just talk about some fun, girly stuff? But y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. Now, we open up this episode with it being the first night with the ladies in Anguilla. So we see them arrive to the restaurant, and it was this really cute restaurant on the beach. And Uba says that this place reminds her of home. And so it was so funny because she said, look, don't let those commercials about the hungry kids fool you. Africa is more than that. Africa is a paradise. Like, we don't have the best PR, but Africa is that girl. And I said, Uba, you don't have to sell me on that. I know that Africa is gorgeous. I'm dying to go. I hope to go in the next few years. I am dying to see the motherland. One of my cousins went, and she said that it just blew her mind. Now, Jessel stirring the pot and bringing up the whole wife swap joke that Brynn made at Erin and Abe's anniversary party, I already knew that the conversation was about to go left. Brynn's pissed. She's like, let's not talk about it. So now you have Uba jumping in, and she's asking Sai, would Sai be upset if somebody made a joke like that to her husband, David? So Sai's like, I'm the wrong girl to ask. I really don't care. Now, I liked how Uba said, these girls are saying that it's just a joke and they wouldn't mind, but I'm calling BS. You're just saying that now because it hasn't happened. Now, from what we've seen of Sai gives me the impression that she has a dry sense of humor. And on top of that, she's not really that emotional. So I could see her letting it roll off her back if somebody were to make a joke like that to her husband. I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't care, but I just feel like in those situations, you never know how you might react. I also feel like you have to have a certain rapport and you have to know the couple's sense of humor before you joke like that. I know that Brynn meant no harm, but like I've said, you need to be careful when you joke like that, and the joke needs to be 30 seconds or shorter. Brynn went on and on and on. It was like the joke never ended. So while Uba's defending Erin, Erin says that she's super touched because Uba's a great friend, and the fact that Uba's sticking up for her really means a lot. Now, I said, Erin, you really get on my nerves. I don't like you. I told you that in the last episode. I think that your attitude is very Karen-esque, and the constant whining and the constant pouting and always being the victim, it's getting old. Also, I'm still not over how you treated Jenna Lyons in the last episode, and for you to throw her under the bus like that, but now you want somebody to stick up for you? I was just too done with it. It's just so funny to me how Erin wants to vacillate between being the victim and the villain. So you have Erin babbling on about how she obviously forgave Brynn for what she said. It's not that big of a deal. She's over it. And then Brynn interjects and says, well, I do want to apologize for calling your party boring. So now Erin's upset about that. And she's like, so I'm confused. You want to apologize to me for calling my party boring, but you don't want to apologize to me about the main issue, which was the fact that you joked around about me and my husband divorcing. Now, Brynn could have kept that weak apology. That made no sense. I was also confused. And Brynn, either you had too much to drink or you forgot what you said, But when you said that you deserve an apology for being accused of saying something that you didn't say in regards to divorce, and they rolled the tapes back and they showed you saying the word divorce. I'm just so tired of Brynn constantly running her mouth because she wants attention, but then when folks call her out for what she said, now she wants to backpedal talking about, oh, I didn't say that, I deserve an apology too. You don't deserve any apology, sis. If I were on one of these shows, one of my biggest strengths would be the fact that I pretty much have a photographic memory. So if somebody were to say something in front of me in one of these settings and they tried to lie about what they said, it will be like, no, girl, you said that verbatim. I was standing right there. I heard it. You were wearing the yellow dress with the pink Valentinos with a bow in your hair, and you had the Gucci purse on. Like, nobody would be able to get anything past me. I would remember what I said, what she said, what you said, what they said. Nobody would be safe. My dad had a fabulous memory. He could remember every detail of every basketball game that he ever played. He could remember every detail of piano recitals that I had, ballet recitals, every basketball game my brother played in. He could tell you all the details, all the stats about that. Every award ceremony that my sister was in, he could tell you all about it. Like, my dad had a crazy good memory. Driving around with him, you would not even need to put on GPS because he would know how to get there. Just, I mean, anywhere. It was like your mind is so brilliant. It's so cool. So I credit my dad for the great memory. And he would always joke around and say that I had the memory of an elephant. So everybody's getting annoyed at this point with Brynn and Erin going back and forth. Sai tries to jump in. She's like, how do we fix this? And now Brynn checks Sai. She's like, Sai, I don't need you jumping in right now. I don't need you to play referee. Let us figure this out between the both of us. I said, well, damn. But in all seriousness, though, this all happened in episode 6. We're on episode 9. Let's wrap this argument up because my eyes were glazing over. If I had to hear Erin say that Brynn hurt her feelings one more time, I was going to scream. And Sai, Erin, and Brynn had me completely messed up at this point when they turned their attention to Jenna and they were like, yeah, we're still upset about that whole coach comment. So Jenna's shocked and she's also confused and upset. And she's like, do you really believe that I said that? That's not what I said. It was easier for me to go the day earlier because I have my genetic disorder with my skin. So now you have Sai talking about, I don't believe you. And I just said, how dare you? I would have cursed them all out at that table because I'll be damned. Don't you dare tell me I'm lying. Jenna is up there dealing with a major health issue. And for y'all to sit up there and criticize her and call her a liar, she does not owe you an explanation about why she came down there a day before. If Jenna wanted to come there 2 weeks before you guys got there, that's her business. She's a grown-ass woman, and you have the audacity to question her and now pick apart her story like she's a liar? Y'all are so jealous of her, and you can't take the fact that she's an actual star. If they cancel this reboot tomorrow, Jenna will still be that girl. And she'll still be a legend. And she'll still be an icon. And none of y'all can say the same. And Erin, the way I wanted to jump through that TV and get you together, because when you said, Jenna, we were just sad because we wanted you to fly with us. That's all. We wanted to have a bonding moment. And I just said, Erin, girl, I hope that Jenna reads you down at this reunion because the fact that you left out what you said when you were at Jenna's apartment, you said to Jenna, girl, take me with you. So you left that part out, but now you want to sit up there and talk about Jenna, that hurt my feelings because we all wanted you to come with us. I really can't stand Erin because I just don't like the fact that she always throws rocks and hides her hands and then she wants to act like she's the victim. Brynn, let me get you together quickly because you really tried it when you said, and Jenna, I feel like you give us all these dope gifts all the time, but we're not connecting. We don't know the real you. And I think that it's unfair because I shared my story with you, but you haven't shared your story and I didn't even know your real name. You're telling strangers that your real name is Judith and I had no idea. Girl, sit down for just a minute. Let me just read you quickly. Brynn, who the F are you where you feel like you're entitled to hearing Jenna's story? Just because you shared stories about your upbringing, it doesn't mean that everybody else has to do the same on the same timeline. Some people are a bit reserved. They don't want to share everything up front. They want you to get to know them. People need to earn that right to get to know you and to know certain things about you. You don't just tell your whole story to everybody. And y'all know I'm the biggest advocate when it comes to moving in silence and making sure that when you do share bits and pieces of your story, that you can trust the people that you're sharing it with. Brynn, Cy, and Erin, you guys aren't even aware of how unlikable you guys are coming across to everybody. I think that you guys are out of line. And I don't like the fact that you guys are high-key picking on Jenna. Jenna has not bothered a soul. She's not doing anything to anybody. And for you to pretty much try to force her to tell her story, that's not your right. And y'all know who to play with, because I'm telling you right now, if you try to sit up there and force me to tell you something that I've gone through, I would have embarrassed you at that table. I don't know who you think you are. I don't know who you think you're talking to. But you're not going to force me to share stuff that I'm not ready to share. That's not your place. And I make sure that I extend that same courtesy. I let people tell me what they want to tell me when they want to tell me. I don't pry. If I can already sense that something has triggered you or a certain topic makes you feel uncomfortable, we don't have to talk about it. And Jenna, don't you ever gift them anything again. Because the fact that they are this ungrateful and this unappreciative, when Jenna tried to explain herself, she said, look, I only told that story to the model about my real name being Judith because I wanted to connect with her. She was visibly nervous, and I wanted to break the ice and let her know that she's not alone. So now Brynn goes on to say, well, I was crying in front of you, right in front of your face, and you didn't even tell me that your name was Judith. You could have told me right then and there. So they're all looking at her like, what? That would have sounded so crazy had Jenna just blurted that out like, oh, by the way, my name's Judith, after you got done crying about your traumatic childhood. Like, let's be real. Erin, you have the audacity to keep piling on. When you said, yeah, Jenna, it just feels like you're super guarded. You have your walls up. So now Jenna's like, look, that's not my intention. I'm sorry. And Jenna, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. That better be your only apology to these ladies, because you did nothing wrong. I was too upset. I just said, Jenna, why the hell are you saying sorry to anybody? You had every right to do what you had to do for your health. You don't owe them an explanation. And you could tell they made Jenna feel so bad. She was upset, and now she starts crying. Now, when Erin walked over to hug Jenna, if I were Jenna, I would have said, Erin, get away from me. You don't get to browbeat me and force me to give an apology when I didn't do anything wrong. Pile on me with the other women, twist my words up, and now when I'm crying because I'm upset, now you want to come over and comfort me after you're the one who caused all the trouble? It just felt so sinister because, Erin, you started all this mess. And I also felt bad when Jenna brought up her mom again. Now remember in earlier episodes, Jenna had revealed that her mom had Asperger's syndrome and how her mom had no emotion. They weren't allowed to make noise or talk in the house because her mom would get irritated. And she goes on to say that her childhood really affected her. So when she started crying about that, I just felt like they low-key forced her to share that. My heart really broke for Jenna when she went on to say that, please, in the future, give me the benefit of the doubt. I don't mean any harm. We're all just broken people trying to figure it out. And I just said, Jenna, if I could give you the biggest hug, and Erin, I really hope that you get read down at this reunion, because what you did was so messed up, but yet you want everybody to apologize to you the minute that your feelings are a bit hurt. And that's why I don't have a whole lot to say. I don't have too much sympathy about those jokes that Brynn made at your anniversary party. I don't know if Jessel has social anxiety or she's a bit socially awkward, because when Miss Mamas jumped in to share her background and she's like, well, you know that we're Indian and I'm from London, but my parents are actually from Africa. So she goes on to say that her parents were forced out of their homes in Africa and how they had it super tough. Then she goes on to share that her mom's two brothers are these big time photographers. They were discovered by some famous artists. And at this point, everybody's confused. Like, Jessel, we want to know more about your life story, not about your parents and your uncles. Like, what's going on? I was just thinking, what does this have to do with anything? And again, why are you talking about how your parents grew up and how your uncles grew up and how they were these big time photographers, but nobody's getting to know you? And let me quickly address this. I forgot to talk about it in my last recap, but when Jessel's husband Pavid mentioned that he wants to go on this solo trip to Vietnam, you know, I know, Jessel knows, we all know that that makes no sense. You obviously want to go to Vietnam for something, and I have quite a few ideas on why you want to go there. But I said if I were Jessel, I would have some serious concerns, especially since you guys have not had sex in 2 years. And you're talking about you want to take this solo trip for 3 or 4 days, and you can't give me a clear answer on what you're trying to do out there. That would definitely be giving me a shout out to everybody. I had fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
You have fun in Vietnam for a few days, but when you come back, I'm gonna need you to get ready to sign those divorce papers that are on the table. But Jessel's story got worse and worse. She says that she always wanted to be in fashion. She moved to New York when she was 22, and she was an intern, and it was super hard because all she did was pack up boxes. So they're all like, girl, excuse me, come again? Now, Erin, if I were you, not too much trying to critique Jessel, because you also grew up privileged. So for you to sit up there and laugh at Jessel, I just said, girl, again, just sit there quietly. Now, the cab ride back to the villa was hilarious when Uba was saying that when they went through TSA and TSA was asking her if she was carrying any liquids, and she said, yeah, I'm carrying this WAP. So Erin's like, what's WAP? So they're like, you don't know what WAP is? You don't know the song with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion? So they explain it to her, and here goes Erin talking about, oh, like that's kind of disgusting. Like that's so gross. And I just said, for the woman who's constantly getting on Jessel about how she needs to get laid and she needs to get effed all the time, those are your words. How are you so grossed out about WAP? It's weird to me how Erin picks and chooses when she wants to be a prude, when she wants to be a victim, and I'm tired of it. And is it just me, or does Erin act a bit older than 35? Because every time she says that she's 35, I'm like, girl, I thought that you were like 43 or 44. And that's no shade, but 35, born and raised in New York, and you go out to all the hottest places, and you don't know the song WAP, you don't know the term, you don't know what it stands for? Like, girl, what? Like, what's going on? So now it's the next morning. Everybody's getting ready for the day. We see Jessel and Uba talking about last night's dinner. And I liked how Uba said that Brynn spirals out of control sometimes and she just talks to talk. And I said, Uba, I agree with you, because for her to say that Jenna doesn't open up and she needs to share more, she was out of order for that. Now we see Sai and Erin outside having some breakfast. They're toasting with some mimosas. And of course, they're discussing the dinner last night. And now Brynn comes out. So at this point, everybody's outside. Jenna, Jessel, and Uba, they're all eating breakfast. And Jenna's emotional and she starts crying because she's still upset about her breakup. So they're comforting her. They're like, girl, it's okay. Breakups are hard. We understand. Brynn always has to be center of attention. When she said, are you sad, Jenna? You want me to cheer you up? You want me to show you my boobs? And so Jenna starts laughing and she's like, no, I'm serious. I'll actually do it. Now, one thing about me, I have no issues when it comes to nudity. I'm nobody's prude. But it's like, why can't you just let Jenna have her moment? Why can't you let her just talk about her feelings for once? Why does it now have to be directed back to you about, girl, let me show you my boobs to cheer you up. It just seems like Brynn is way too desperate to have the spotlight on her. There's a time and a place. I can see if you guys are at the club, you guys are just being silly, having fun, but not when Jen is crying and she's being vulnerable. I'm all for having a big personality, but you need to learn how to rein it in. It can't always be about you every single minute. It just can't. And it's coming off as stale and thirsty. Now, I don't know what was going on, but Uba starts talking about there's hair in the food. So she's coughing. They were like, can you cover your mouth, please? And I said, yeah, Uba, you know better than that. We just came out of COVID. So don't be sitting up here hacking all over the food. I would have been pissed. So now Jenna interjects and she tells a funny story about her grandma. And now Sai's asking Jenna if Jenna's grandma was nice. So Jenna's like, no, she was a really mean woman. She wasn't nice at all. So now Jenna reveals that that's the real reason why she's so affectionate, because she always craved that affection growing up. And I have to admit, I was surprised to hear that Jenna craved affection because she didn't get it growing up, because a lot of times that I've talked to people who grew up in homes where their parents weren't affectionate, their siblings weren't affectionate, they usually aren't affectionate to anybody unless it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I feel like that is a bit heartbreaking when I hear that people grew up never hearing that I love you from their parents. I feel like you need to hear that. It's important. I don't believe in, well, you should already know that. No, it just does something to you to know that your parents love you. You know, I don't know. That's just me. I know that everybody's different, but over here, I need to hear I love you. I need to hear all the words. I need all of it. that dry stuff, it's not gonna fly over here. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I can't even do a dry friendship. But I feel like you can tell by watching me that my personality is like that. I don't really need to say it. So now the conversation changes gears. So Sai interjects and brings up the reason why she's so affectionate with her kids and she low-key smothers them, because she grew up in a similar household where her parents didn't really say I love you because they just really weren't in that frame of mind. And so she tells a story about how her mom was an alcoholic. I felt bad hearing how Sai's mom passed away on a park bench by herself, but I don't know. I just felt like her telling that story came out of nowhere in a sense, because I just felt like it took a drastic turn. They were talking about Jenna, and then all of a sudden we're taking a sharp left to discuss what happened to Sai's mother and her alcoholism. I just said, oh my gosh, remind me to never book a vacation with Sai and these girls, because they'll have you sobbing the entire time. And then they'll also want you to share your childhood trauma. And it's like, but who wants to do that on vacation? I guess I feel like there's a flow to things. And I feel like the way some of these women are sharing their stories, it doesn't feel organic. Don't get me wrong. When you are getting to know people, you'll start sharing stuff gradually. But I just feel like the timing is a bit off. Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly, but I was just taken aback by that sudden story that Sai told about her mom. That's all. And again, every conversation cannot be centered around trauma. It just can't. Who wants to talk about that all day long? I know I don't, especially not on a vacation. And don't get me wrong, I am extremely in tune with my emotions, but I just feel like there's a time and a place. Or maybe I'm just somebody where when I'm on vacation, I completely check out. I'm not really trying to dig that deep and think about sad things that have happened. I'm not. I can wait till I get back home to think about stuff and dwell on things and journal it out or cry it out. But on vacation, I just want to have a good time. Now, when they all head to the beach, they had a really nice setup. They had the beach chairs. There was this cute beach house there where they could get changed in. And the beach looked amazing. I said one thing about it. I live for a beach vacation. But I said, let me go book the Four Seasons in Anguilla because that's where I need to be once it gets cold. But anyhow, they're having fun. They're taking pictures. Of course, Brynn is doing the most. Then we see Erin and Brynn talking about how they want to get Jessel wasted and send some pictures of Jessel to Pavitt so that they'll finally have sex. Again, Jessel, you should have never opened your mouth about your lack of a sex life because they brought it up in every single episode. Erin, you talk more about Jessel's sex life than you do your own. Why are y'all so pressed? So now the ladies arrive to this really cool beach shack for lunch. And here's where things go left yet again between Erin and Brynn. So we see Sai asking Brynn about her dating life. She's like, what's the status? Are you seeing somebody seriously? What's going on? Can I hook you up with somebody? Like, let me know. So Brynn says that she's definitely dating. She's mingling, having a good time. And then she says that right now she's looking for a man who wants to settle down and have a family because that's what she wants. She goes on to joke around that she might look 27, but she's not. She's 36. So now Brynn lets the women know that she's now looking into freezing her eggs. So I think it was Sai who said, well, isn't that expensive? And now they're all chiming in, giving their opinions. And I don't know how many times I can keep saying it, but I am the biggest believer in keeping things to yourself. Moving in silence is the way to go. If you really want to see your dreams come true in any area of your life, don't tell a soul until it's done. I wouldn't be telling everybody about my plans on freezing my eggs. It's nobody's business. There's something about telling your premature plans to people and they don't work out. I'm so serious. Think about it like this. Think about a time where you told some friends or you told maybe some family members or some co-workers about some big plans that you had, about a vacation that you were going to book, and then all of a sudden an unexpected bill came or there was some unexpected expense, and now all of a sudden you can't go on the vacation, and now you feel silly because you sat up there telling everybody that you were going, and now you have to face them and say, oh yeah, by the way, I can't go. And it's like, had you not said anything, nobody would have been any the wiser if the bill did come up and you couldn't go, because it's like, well, nobody knew anyhow that I had plans on going on this vacation. Listen, you can do what you want, but I'm going to always stand by my tried and true method that's worked very well for me about moving in silence and not talking about anything until it's signed on the dotted line. I say all that to say, Brynn, going forward, I don't know if it's the best idea to go around sharing your plans about freezing your eggs, but that's just me. So Brynn goes on to say that the whole process is a lot, and at some point, Erin's whispering that what Brynn's telling them isn't true. She's like, I have friends who went through the whole process of freezing their eggs, and they did not tell me what Brynn's telling us. Brynn is lying. So Erin actually calls Brynn out for not being honest, and now Brynn is pissed. She's like, I could lie about a lot of things, but I wouldn't lie about that. Like, why would you say that? The fact that you're trying to debunk my story, saying that I'm a liar, I don't appreciate that. I'm not that well versed in the whole egg freezing process, so I can't speak on if Brynn was exaggerating or if she was lying or not. But if she is lying, that's just dumb on her part, because why would you do that? You're on national TV. Like that's ever stopped anybody from lying, because we see all these other reality stars lie about their incomes, their marital statuses. So Brynn would not be the first housewife to lie. Look at Sheree and Marlo on Atlanta. All they do is lie, especially Sheree. Did anybody else fall out when Erin had the nerve to say that Brynn was too sensitive? The whiniest person on this cast, but you want to fix your mouth and say that somebody else is sensitive. Now, if Brynn had cursed you out for that, I wouldn't have been upset. I am very excited for this New York reunion because the way Erin has been trying it since the first episode. I am dying to see what she says for herself when she's on the hot seat. She's very irritating. So at this point, the ladies head back to the villa to get ready for dinner, and Brynn goes into Sai's bathroom to let her know that she's not feeling up to dinner tonight and she wants to take a time out and just rest in the villa by herself. So Sai says, that's fine, you can sit out tonight, but tomorrow night, you have to be out with us. So Brynn's like, yeah, girl, that's fine, don't worry, but I just need to rest tonight. So now we close the episode with Brynn walking into Erin's room, and she's like, hey girl, I just told Sai that I'm not going to be going out with you guys for dinner tonight, but I wanted to tell you that because I didn't want you to assume that the reason why I'm not going to dinner is because I'm mad at you. And so Erin's like, I just want you to know that I love you, Brynn, and I'm just joking around. So now she goes over to hug Brynn, and they have a cute little heart-to-heart moment. But I just said, I'm so tired of Brynn and Erin. 1 minute they're arguing, the next minute is, I love you so much, I don't want to hurt you. They hug it out, they cry, wash, rinse, repeat. Are you guys friends or not? Because I feel like there shouldn't be all this drama if you guys are as close as you say you are. It's always something. Either Erin's pissed off at what Brynn is saying or doing, then Brynn is pissed off at Erin. It feels like a ping pong match with them always being upset with each other and then making up. And honestly, I don't have the patience anymore. I'm over it. I don't really think that they're friends. I feel like they're frenemies, because a real friendship should not have all these disagreements, all these arguments. You guys are always at each other's throats. Then you're making up, crying. Like, aren't you tired? I'm tired just watching you guys. And that's where we end the episode. Y'all, I'm loving New York. I think that the cast dynamics are great. I like how we're at that stage where we know who the villains are, we have the fan favorite, and the storylines are coming along perfectly, and this is what a good reboot looks like. If you're not watching New York, I suggest that you binge, because it's a really good season. The drama is just right, it's not too toxic, it's not contrived, it's an actual friend group. These women actually knew each other. Well, most of them knew each other prior to joining the show. So it's not all these fake friendships where they're pretending like they knew each other from way back when, which we see on other franchises. But y'all, that was my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.